If you ask, where do you get your ideas?
Yeah.
You're done. You're done. If you ask, what's the other one?
It's already recording.
Can I have a pen? Anyone else have any questions?
Go ahead. We'll be gentle.
First year of SG1 versus first year of SGU, how have things changed in that, like, network trust, special effects abilities, technologies, all that? I mean, like, do you ever sit back and go, oh my God, we never would have been able to do this before with this show?
That's a lot of questions.
There's certainly a tremendous amount of trust from the studio. They have listened to us in terms of how much money we felt we needed to make the show.
Mm-hmm. What about special effects wise? I mean,
well, interestingly enough, 13 years ago when we first stepped through the Stargate, it cost $5,000 for a person to walk through the Stargate through the event horizon of the puddle. And now it costs $5,000. It's true.
Yeah, but now the camera's handheld and it's a better looking shot. I mean,
and the puddle is way better. I mean, we call it the puddle.
We've come a long way, but you know, your standards go up too, and you try and match the cutting edge all the time, and so you're always pushing the envelope a little bit, and that, you know, costs more money.
When a really good sci-fi movie comes out with great effects, you go, damn it, we got to match that.
No, I think that this show in particular, the attitude going in was much more, let's make a good TV show. We can't compete with $100 million, so don't try and fall short. Make a show that's all about, you know, characters, these faces,
performances,
people, and you know, there's some spectacle there. Certainly, it's got a lot of grandness that a lot of television drama doesn't have. But for the most part, we're not trying to make a $100 million movie because we can't.
What's been the best perk of success? Like, what can you do now that you weren't able to do season 1 or before?
Well, I mean, you know, as the writer, producer of a science fiction show, you get into all the best restaurants and clubs, and
you don't wait in line for anything.
And you know, tickets to sporting events.
It's just unbelievable.
It's
because they everybody goes, wow, he's the writer.
It's so cool.
There are.
Come on, I've seen pictures of you in like going up in a jet and stuff like that.
Okay, now that's fair.
Cool.
That's fair, but here's what happened in that situation. They wanted to give the perk to the actor, and I said no. It's true. I said they can only go if I go. And the guy at the Air Force went, no, I'm serious. I'm not letting them get on a jet without me. So they went, okay, and that's how that worked. But that's because I have a deep love of flying in jets.
What SGU line reading surprised you the most? Like what from the page to when they said it?
What in the hell was that? Great.
I'm sure you get this all the time, but which character do you most see yourself in?
I guess young.
Yeah, really?
I wouldn't have said young until I got old, but now I feel like I'm a tired captain of a ship. I find when you write characters together, when you co-create characters, which is what Rob and I do, and when you're handing a pilot script back and forth, I was writing Rush too wordy, and so he was saying I'd get a draft back and there'd be fewer words, and you know, the characters aren't the creation of just you or you know, especially when you co-create something, and then it's a combination of you and the performer. What their voice. As soon as you guys open your mouths in the read-through, we went back and started. You have to change everything because you know, the actor is 50% of the equation in character creation.
Well, actually, oddly enough, that's actually the very next question I was going to ask: is what character changed the most from the page when you first wrote it before you started casting to the actual airing of the first episode?
Jamil's character changed quite a bit, I would say.
Aside from the name.
Yeah. Well, I mean, he just brings something so unique to the equation, and that came across in his audition. When we saw his audition, we realized that, you know, he was going to play a lot of notes off key, which is great. I mean, you're never quite sure what you're going to get.
If you could magically snap your fingers and take away one doubt that the fans have, whether it be from before we premiered or still lingering now, just change one thing in them about how they feel and what they're expecting, what would it be?
The thing that's happening with the fan response right now is so funny because the sci-fi fans love to post their opinions, and you can go to a number of sites, but you know, one that isn't even related to go to IMDb, and this show is brilliant. It's cutting edge. The drama is great. This show sucks. It's one of the worst things I've ever seen. I love this show. The characters are so rich. The characters are terrible and boring. The writing is great. The writing sucks. I mean, it's just, and I guess all I can say is, I like that that there's the visceral reaction. I mean, tepid is death. You know, it's adequate. It's not gonna something if people are passionate one way or the other, at least, you know, they've been moved. And the funny thing is, there's a lot of people who are online saying, I hate this show. The third time I watched it, I hate it even more.
Yeah,
so
they took the time to.
It is true that the female characters are not given enough weight in the first batch of episodes, and that they do emerge a little bit later on as more well-rounded characters. And
especially Camille.
Yeah, actually, I found myself saying that literally yesterday to a fan who had that kind of thing. I was like, Ray and TJ become my favorite characters.
The thing about Ray is that we never saw her at the very beginning as one of our main leads, and then when we realized we could use that dynamic down the road because we were writing episodes where.
But we also got Ming Na, and that became a part of the process. You know, a little bit further into to the casting, and at that point, the pilot had essentially been written, and we had to go back and kind of weave her in a little bit.
But not in a huge way. But I kind of love that. I mean, when you go back and look at it, it's like, well, she was one of the. Naturally, she had to be on that ship. Naturally, she was part of it, and she doesn't rise up as a major player in the Destiny until a little bit later. That's okay.
Before the official cast were announced, a few of us, I think maybe all of us, you guys called us. Like conference called us directly to talk to us. Was that kind of on that same line to see how you gelled with people, to see if you wanted to work with them, or is that just more to get a feel for how people were?
No, I think we had an idea about the kind of atmosphere we wanted on set, and I think that it was important to us, and we had learned from past experience that it was important to get to know people a little bit as people, because a lot of what you're going to bring to the table as an actor is going to come from you. I had a conversation with Jamil early on because he was, I think, a little nervous and a bit uncomfortable about how to play his character. And I said, look, television is it's a long haul. And the closer you can bring the character to you, the more real it's going to be in the long term. It's kind of easier to go into someone else's skin for a short period of time for a movie. But to be honest, in the long haul, eventually, over seasons of television, you're going to be tired. The closer you can get to the real you, the more true that character is going to feel on an ongoing, consistent basis.